Hey everybody, it's time for the weekly Rahdo recap, and you know what that means. 3 things to do today. Tell you about all the videos that went up on the channel over the last week. Tell you about videos on other people's channels that I think are great and you'll probably enjoy like me. And tell you about new games that I've discovered in all of my weekly research. Some of which you've never heard of. One of which I think is destined to punch into my top 20 of all time. In fact, I know it will be. I can't wait to tell you. I'm so excited. But there's something else I'm excited about too, folks. It's October, and therefore I think it's worth reminding everybody that at the end of the month, Jen and I are going to be at the Funicon 2023 convention in Eugene, Oregon. And I am very, very stoked to be there. And not just me, Chaz Marler of Watch It Played. There's going to be all kinds of fun events that you can get in on. And folks, if you can make it there, I guarantee I will play a game with you. That is my non-legally binding guarantee, by the way, but I'm going to do everything I can to play with anybody who wants to come over and say, hey, I'm going to be there all 3 days, as is Jen selling her gamer glass, which is very, very cool. It is going to be a great, great time. Okay, so now let's get to what we came here to do. I'm going to tell you about stuff on the channel. Starting, as always, with some exclusives. Thank you very much to everybody who helps support the show. What did you get this week? Oh, some good stuff, folks. Starting with the latest Jen Jogs. Jen and I believe we talked about 25 games that Jen had to rate on a 1 to 5 star scale, and she had some very tough choices, and her top 7 of the month are very, very different than my top 7 of the month, as always. And it's always great to dig in. She always has really interesting observations, and sometimes it opens my eyes. Oh my God, I didn't even look at that game that way, but that's the way she looks at it, and it's always a lot of fun. So this is there as an exclusive, as a thank you for folks who support the show. And also, if you support the show, did you know you get access to videos early? Right now, you could be watching my run-through for Apiary, which I got clearance to do. I know it's under embargo, but Jamie Stegmeyer said I could give early access to backers of the show if they want to see this awesome worker placement game in action. Plus, you could be checking out my run-through of Ezra and Nehemiah, which will be coming a little bit later. Plus, my run-through for Humanity, which I'm thinking is going to be the sleeper hit of Essen Spiel this year. And Nocturne. I have done the first portion of this run-through. This run-through is going to be like nothing I've ever done before on the channel, folks. Cannot wait for you to see it. Oh, and then Ruel did a run-through of Neotopia, showing off just how awesome this latest abstract city building game is. Oh my gosh. So that's a lot of fun stuff that's available for you. And folks, there's one other thing I haven't mentioned, a special bonus video that I'm just trying to keep under wraps. But if you're a backer, you already know what it is. Although it's a higher level backer one. Oh my gosh, folks. Spoilers abound in that one for people who like such things. But regardless, that's all the stuff that's exclusive for backers of the show. And again, thank you so much for everybody who helps keep Rahdo running. But now, what is available for everybody to see? Well, I did my most recent Rahdo Roundup, where I talked about 22 games, and went almost an hour and a half because it's Essen Spiel time. I talked about so many Essen games in this particular video. Here I am at the end thanking all those people who back and support the show, but I dive deep. That just went up yesterday, and hopefully you will find some interesting info about games there. What else have we got? Oh, my preview run-through for Cargo Empire, which is going to be launching soon on Kickstarter. The one that made me rethink my relationship with pick up and deliver. What else have we got? Oh, I did a run through of the new 2-player rules for Dice Manor, which so radically improved the game. Although, in my final thoughts, I made suggestions for how to improve the game even more for 2 players, and also how I think it could now, with these 2-player rules with a little bit of tweaking, could be easily turned into a solo game. And I have heard back from Arcane Wonders that they like my solo game ideas, and they are investigating them. So watch this space, folks. Dice Manor might become a very solid solo game soon, too, and it's just a lot of fun. The auction, city building. And I'm so happy now that it works great for 2, whereas before it was really only for higher player counts. And so you can watch how it works in my run through of that. That's available right now. Oh, okay. And then Jen and I did a run through for Ticket to Ride Legends of the West. Play through the entire first thing. No spoilers. Don't worry about it. And then Amy and Maggie jumped in for the final thoughts because they finished the entire campaign. And they have a lot to say about the Legacy big box legacy game. Okay, what else do we got here? Yes, White Castle. I'm telling you right now, folks, this is going to be one of the biggest hits, one of the first games to sell out at Essen Spiel this year. For very, very good reason. So much crunchiness in such a tight package. Very, very impressed. And you can watch my run through of what makes White Castle so special right now. And then, Ruel is back with a run through for Cretaceous Rails, which answers the question, hey, if we could travel back in time millions of years to the Cretaceous period, what would we do? Well, we build railway lines so we can give tours to dinosaurs in their natural habitat, of course. This game is doing very, very well on crowdfunding right now. Really kind of blowing up with tons of cool dinosaur miniatures and trains and dinos is what everybody's wanted to see, and Ruel will show you why in his run through of Cretaceous Rail, which is on the channel right now. Links for it and everything I'm talking about today, folks, are down in the show notes if you want to know more. But okay, with that out of the way, we've talked about what's on my channel. What did I see on other people's channels? I've got 4 videos that I was very fond of, starting with a run through of Disney sidekicks from One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason did a phenomenal job demonstrating what makes this Disney-themed pandemic-style co-op game tick. And I gotta say, I am intrigued. I really want to know more about this game. I've been waiting to hear from it, and Jason did a run-through that I've said this before, folks. If I'm bringing anybody else onto the channel to do more run-throughs, Jason is probably going to be my first call because he does a fantastic job. He really demonstrates all the core features of the game with a lot of humor and wit. And if you want to know more about, hey, what would happen if I could play Pandemic, but as the sidekicks like Abu and Tinkerbell going up against Disney villains to try to save Disney heroes, there's a lot of fun here. And I had a great time watching Disney sidekicks on the One Stop Co-op Shop. Let's see, what else have we got? Kimberly on Tabletop Tolson did a phenomenal, I guess, retrospective on Dwarf Romantic, the board game. I mean, a lot of people have covered it. I covered it. But Kimberly said, you know what? I'm going to finish the entire campaign. I forget, she played like upwards of 20 games of this so she could unlock everything, so she could give a much more thorough and in-depth understanding of the entire breadth of what this game offers. In a board game media industry where we are all just, hey, we play the game a few times, we put our video up and we move on, Kimberly dove deep and has a lot to say about the entire campaign experience. And as a result, she disagrees, I should say, with some of what some channels have said about the game, because there is so much surprising depth in this game. And so Kimberly lets you know all about the Spiel des Jahres winner of this year in greater depth than just about anybody else with her Dwarf Romantic post-campaign thoughts and highlights. Okay. What have we got next? This was wonderful. It was so great to see Jackie back from Show Me How to Win doing an interview with one of the developers of 12 Rivers, a game I was very excited about for last year's Essen, but apparently it got pushed back till this year's Essen. And she does a great interview. He tells a lot of information about the development of the game and what makes the game special. And I'm super stoked. Still, very, very excited about 12 Rivers. But what I really enjoyed, it was just surreal to watch this. Jackie and the developer are talking. Jackie is asking him questions in English, and he is answering his questions in Mandarin. And then Jackie asked another question in English, and there's never a camera cut. It's like I'm watching Star Wars. You know how everybody can just talk to Chewbacca, or how Luke can just have conversations with R2-D2, and yet somehow, even though they're speaking completely different languages, they do this. And so you have to turn on the subtitles to be, unless of course you also can speak Mandarin, like apparently Jackie can. But it was just a lot of fun to hear somebody talking in depth about a game that looks really, really cool in Mandarin with more English questions getting peppered in between. She did a great job. It was a lot of fun, and 12 Rivers looks fantastic, and it should be out at Essen this year. Although I don't think it's on the, is it on the preview? Well, folks, you'll find out soon. because I'm about to, after I'm done with this, I'm going to be filming later on today my top 20 most anticipated games for Essen Spiel. Will 12 Rivers make it on the list a second year in a row? Well, we'll find out later today. All right. What? Oh, one more video. 3-minute board games. Jared, he did his top 100 games of all time. And man, the guy is a pro. He did it in just over an hour. He talked about 100 games. And I really enjoyed this. I wish he would have put timestamps in so I could skip over the ones that I wasn't interested in. But honestly, I mean, he is so quick and succinct about all these games that you can, if you don't want to hear one, you can just push the right button and skip a few steps and you'll be on to the next game. Because, I mean, talk about a jam-packed video. Although when he gets to his final 10, he slows down a little bit and gives, each game like, I don't know, a minute instead of 15 seconds. So he's very, very generous there at the end. But again, he talked about so many games, many of which, I mean, man, he has some great taste. There are a lot of games in here I hadn't thought about for years. In his top 10, if I recall correctly, I think it was his number 9 and his number 6. I really appreciate it, as well as his number 2. And it's just wonderful. I guarantee you will hear about some games you've never heard of because Jared's interests are wide and deep. And it was a very, very fun top 100 in just over an hour. It took me an hour and a half to talk about 22 games in my monthly roundup. Jared, how do you do it? You're a machine. Okay, folks. So those were the new videos. That all sounds very fun, right? But there is one more thing we are going to do before we get out of here. I am going to be counting down 4 games. Actually 5 games. Well, kind of 4.5 games that I've recently discovered that I think are the bee's knees, and I can't wait to tell you about them. So let's get going with the countdown, starting with number 5, Archaeologic. Oh, that's a tough one to say. Now, I have to admit, when I first looked at this, I saw, a deduction game. Jen and I were kind of over deduction. We're just not that into it anymore. And so I moved on. But then, last week, I filmed designer Johan Levitt's Humanity, and I thought it was so great. I was wondering, what has Johan Levitt been up to? He did Mirror Me's a million years ago. He did Turing Machine more recently. What's he been up to now? Well, Humanity is phenomenal, but I suddenly got very excited about Archaeologic, which, again, is a deduction game about, trying to lay down polyomino tiles and figure out in secret, using deduction, where all the treasures are and all of that. But the thing is, this game comes with a really cool spinny gadget. And remember, Johan Levitt is one of the people behind I've just forgotten the name of it now. Turing Machine, which is one of the most brilliant, clockwork puzzle mechanisms turned into a puzzle-generating machine. Not one of the greatest one the industry's ever seen. And he's made another one now. And he's built an entire game design around it. So, yeah. While Jen and I are not that much into deduction anymore, I'll give this one a try. Archaeologic, because of the designer Johan Levitt, seems to be on a massive comeback tour, so I definitely want to check this one out from Ludonaut. That's number 5. Then we've got number 4, Restart. Free Totem Game Studio. I don't really know them or the designers Vangelis, Ethemisiou, and Antonius Yiannopoulos. I don't think so. Those are Greek names, aren't they? Have those designers done other stuff? Age of Rome, I did not play that. So they've done Age of Rome, which I know was very, very successful on Kickstarter, but I haven't seen that. But why am I interested about this? Because I love games about time travel, and this one has a few key things that I think are very interesting. You have in your hand multi-use cards, and on your turn, during the meditation phase, you're either going to play those cards to your mind board, because traveling through time is fracturing your brain, and you need to kind of get yourself centered and under control. So you can use the events to try to find calm in the storm, I guess, which actually functionally gives you access to different actions. So you can use these cards to get different special actions, or more importantly, you can play these cards out to a grid of cards on the table that represents the timeline, and you're playing them to overwrite historical events with other historical events. I love multi-use cards. I love time travel, so I'm really interested to see how these things come together. Plus, not for nothing, the cards look really great, although there's no actual actual gameplay, just pictures of the art, but it looks very, very nice. One other thing that really intrigued me about this game is, of course, you are changing time and you are changing the future, and that affects everybody. But after the game is over, this is a really fun twist. Whatever state the world, the future is in, you can say, oh, you know what? Next time we play, we're going to pick up from there. We're going to say, oh, well, you know, we need to create up the robot apocalypse. All right, next time we play, let's start with the world in the state of a robot apocalypse and see how we can change time, and maybe we'll end up in a perfect utopia and we can keep playing until we create utopia. That's cool. That's a fun idea, taking it to the next level with number 4 on the list, Restart. Okay. Then let's talk about number 3 on the list, Pharmacology from George Jaros, GJJ Games. This game, man, as I was reading the description for it, it blew my mind. It is a dice drafting roll and write game, but let's talk about what's in the description. Drafted dice can be used to power locations to generate workers, medical supplies, resources, money. It can be used to power other locations to research drugs and vaccines so you can treat diseases to earn points. Outreach programs provide abilities that further increase your potential. Oh man, where was the list of all the stuff you do in this? Oh, here's where it is. So you're using dice specifically to collect samples, use and upgrade locations, hire medical technicians, doctors, scientists, develop drugs, vaccines, gain benefits through outreach programs, treat diseases, increase the size of your workforce, boost your score by specializing certain disease classifications, quarantine diseases for easier research, and use profits to buy medical supplies, dice rerolls, additional resources, and more. And more! Jeez Louise, I have to admit, I am interested in the subject matter of making life-saving drugs, but also making an economic engine out of it too. This looks like it's got to be one of the bigger, heavier roll and writes that we are ever going to see. There is so much going on, and the way the draft works sounds very, very neat too. But the other thing that really jumps out at me about it is this was just a little independently developed game, and originally he did it as a print play, and he's now got it available on GameCrafter. GameCrafter games cost a high because they're print on demand, so it's not cheap to get this. But man, I hope the industry, somebody in the industry who watches this show, go check out this game. Buy a copy of it from GameCrafter because I want to play this game. It sounds phenomenal, and I think it deserves a light of day, especially because it won the 2017 Manhattan Project Dice game, which was put on back in the day by Minion Games. James Matthey, one of the greatest people board gaming has ever had, and we sadly lost him a few years ago. James Matthey loved the game, was a huge proponent of it, and and I wouldn't be surprised if this game would have already been put in print if sadly James Matthey had not passed on. Board game industry. Roll and writes are a big deal. Super heavy roll and writes are a big deal. Roll and writes with really cool, fresh themes that we haven't seen a lot of are a big deal. Somebody needs to check out my number 2, Pharmacology. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that was my number 3. My number 2 is another roll and write, much lighter this time, Silver and Gold Pyramids from Phil Walker Harding. Now, Silver and Gold, he did a couple of years ago, and it was pretty well received, particularly because it was a roll and write where we were doing bingo style, or it's a flip and fill, right? We're drawing cards, not rolling dice. But the cards that come up say how we actually mark stuff on the cards themselves, which I admit we've seen other games do it, but that was just a lot of fun drawing on my cards, knowing I could erase them all at the end. The problem was the original Silver and Gold had a couple of really, in my opinion, horrible design decisions that kind of ruined it for me and Jen. Throwing in a memory element and the way turn order was resolved was really needlessly complicated. So anyway, he's coming back with a sequel, and I am hoping that they have gotten rid of the memory element of the game, so you don't have to remember what's been played and what hasn't been played, and that they've come up with a new way. I mean, I'm excited because, again, Silver and Gold was fantastic. With a couple of tweaks, it could have been one of the all-time greats. A GOAT, and maybe the sequel, Silver and Gold Pyramids, will be it. And folks, one more game, my number 1, and this one's kind of a cheat. It's really kind of half an entry. It's Jump Drive Terminal Velocity. Now, this has already come out a while ago. It's a wonderful expansion from one of the greatest modern card games of all time, Jump Drive, and it just adds a lot more stuff. I've already talked about this in a previous roundup, and the existence of this expansion, Terminal Velocity, already had taken Jump Drive out of my top 60 games of all time and pushed it into my top 30 with its addition of objectives and extra tiles and all kinds of fun stuff, including a really cool campaign solo experience if you wanted to try that out. Here's why I'm talking about it today. even though, I've already talked about it months ago. I stumbled across in the forums designer Tom Lehman putting out his draft rules to turn this into a cooperative game. And here they are right here. I cannot wait to try this, because the last time Tom did this, he turned Dice Realms into a co-op/solo game, and it was phenomenal, and it so improved the game. And so now, for the first time, Jump Drive with the expansion Terminal Velocity will be playable as a co-op, and I am there for it. This, I suspect, is going to take Jump Drive out of my top 30 and put it into my top 20 best games of all time, and I just wanted to spread the news. If, like me, you are a Jump Drive or a Tom Lehman or a Race for the Galaxy universe devotee, then folks, Jump Drive just went co-op, and that is awesome. And that's it, folks. Another episode is all done. You know what to do. There's the big playlist of all the videos I talked about today. There's the subscribe. There's the Patreon info if you'd like to know more. Because, folks, I've now got to do my top 20, and I've got to do an additional top 200 for the monthly ramble for backers. Oh, I'm exhausted. This is going to be a lot of work. Wish me luck, everybody. Okay.